Hello guys, welcome back. We're back to playing Loren the Amazon Princess. So, I think the next videos are gonna be like really long videos that'll be just cut because saying the catch you later every time is unsatisfactory because I want to keep playing. So we're just gonna keep on doing this. So anyway. Loren and her ally were walking down a road in the middle of the plains en route to the town of Grimoire. And I don't even remember what we were doing. Even though Loren was quiet, Sharon knew that she was thinking only of saving her mother. The only clue we have is that my mother's scars have disappeared as well. If we find them, then we find my mother. That's a good plan. No beeps, Sherlocks. Your Highness. Their relationship was as one might expect between a servant and royalty. Sharon quietly followed the princess and would only praise and agree with her when given the chance to speak. He was used to being less formal. That doesn't make sense. But then he had never served royalty before. Loren noticed nothing about this behavior because she was quite used to it. This is the only way out from the citadel, so the queen must have passed by here. It would be very helpful if there was any witness to unusual activity. But, Your Highness, may I ask a question? Loren glanced at him with a frown. This was the first time he had dared to speak out of turn. If you must, but I cannot promise that I will answer. Why aren't we using a griffin to travel now? They're faster than walking, and much safer. You fool, aren't you aware of the laws of my people? Saren took a step back, fearful for his life. But for the most part, yes. My choice to leave the citadel took away my privileges. The griffins are not allowed to me. Did I read that right? I don't know. Can you change the laws? As queen, but I'm not queen, my mother is. I see, I'm sorry that I asked, Your Highness. Now you know, don't forget it. I guarantee that I shall not, Your Highness. They traveled mostly quiet through the day until it faded to night. That sounded really weird. The land ran flat with sparse boulders along the path. This looks like a good place to camp. Loren, however, did not stop walking and continue on without a word. Your Highness, keep up. Oh boy. Saren sprang up from the ground where he was about to start a fire and hurried after her. Loren seemed prepared to travel a lot further that night. Saren steeled himself for a very long walk, but he found it more and more difficult to keep his position behind Loren. She was beginning to walk much slower. Loren's feet were dragging against the ground rather than proudly stomping ahead like earlier in the day. Saren knew that Princess Loren was tired. We should stop for the night and make camp. My mother is out there, waiting for someone to save her. That someone is me. You're a stubborn person, aren't you? You're a stubborn. Loren was not going to stop for even a moment until Queen Karen was recovered. It was now Saren's job to keep her from sabotaging herself with her own determination. Okay, so we get to respond. You got joking, friendly, and forceful. And I did play a bit. So, let's see. Let's just keep friendly. You will be no use to your mother running on no sleep. So I played a little bit to get a handle of the battle system. And I think I got it, so we'll see how it goes. I played like, 10 minutes? So, enough to the first achievement anyway, but I forgot to save. Loren halted and spun around. What did you say to me? Sarah knew that his life was over. He was too used to speaking freely with his previous mistress, and his tongue got away from him. I'm sorry, Princess. What I meant to say is that I am too exhausted to continue. Loren shifted her weight and put her hand on her hips. She's already doing that. You? I'm used to hard labor, but I was always granted rest at night by the grace of your highnesses. Loren evaluated him, though only superficially. Deep down, she was more tired than Siren. I had thought you stronger than this. Loren pushed past him into the bushy grass. She sat down cross-legged, her back straight, and her arms resting on each knee, just like Amazon royalty. Lie down, man. I will give you only a few hours. Do not waste them. Getting Loren to stop was enough for Saren, and he decided not to waste his mistress's generosity. He promptly walked over and laid in the grass next to her, but not too close. Saren woke a few hours later to Loren calling him. He did not see Loren sleep a wink. However, Loren's speed and alertness had improved, letting him know that she might have rest after all. See, you need a good night's sleep. I've seen no population since we left. I was told the Grimoire settlement was on this route. Where is it? Is it past that mountain? Which mountain, mistress? You see before us? You've instructed me to walk straight for it. Princess, that is not a mountain. It is the city of Grimoire. Loren stopped once again to turn to her servant. That is not a city. It is too large. It is a large walled city, like the Citadel. Amazons? What? Loren reached for her sword, bursting on the thought of a competing tribe so close to her home. No, Grimoire is the capital of the Empire, the nation of men. Please put away your sword. We are not to make war with them. Loren looked at her blade, frowned, and slid it back into its sheath. Others can build cities as great as the Citadel. Are you sure what you speak? Yes, castles can be constructed by any nation with the proper materials. You didn't know that? Loren winced from the insinuation that she was not well educated. I know that the Amazons are superior to all other nations, so the Citadel is superior to all other castles. Yes, your grace. Saren learned just how sheltered Loren truly was. Even his former mistress knew all about the outside world, but then she was allowed to travel outside of the Citadel's walls. Loren was not. He knew then that he would have to take better care of his princess than he anticipated. You're now being taken to the world map. The location will appear as they're discovered in the storyline. Sometimes when you travel to a city, you'll encounter random battle. These battles are optional, unlike the battles that are triggered by the storyline. You can also access the camp button on the map. It will take you to your group's campsite so that you may speak with your party members. Cool. It's like Persona! Kind of. Getting to know each persona is... Oh, whatever. Oh, may even lead to romance. I did not read that part. Shoot. Okay, let's break camp for now. In this screen, yeah. Saren approached Loren tentatively. She looked deep in thought, and it was probably dangerous to disturb her. Nevertheless, he spoke up. Your Highness. Fortunately, Loren gave him a slight nod of acknowledgement, but nothing more. Forgive me for asking, but I do not know much of this situation. Perhaps if you told me more, I could assist you better. What more is there to know? My mother is missing. Yes, but what was the Queen doing to have gone missing? When was the last time you saw her? Loren raised her chin while her eyes blinked rapidly. I can't tell you much of anything. I wish I could, but I can't. My mother was an immensely private person, but you are asking for the facts, and the facts are that Mother the Queen was not in her bedchamber one morning, and we have not seen her since. And the scouts? Were you not there? They could not find her. Even though they could track a sparrow through a forest, they could not find their own queen. Loren looked away. Saren was uneasy in the ensuing silence. But we will succeed where the scouts have failed. Absolutely. The conviction brought hope to her. She uttered a sigh. I already knew that. Yes, your grace. Oh boy. Your Majesty, if I may ask, now that we are traveling together, I would like to know what you expect of me. What kind of question is this? Everything I need you for. This is what a servant is for. I see. I am still your princess, even though I have left the Citadel. Yes, I was not doubting that at all, ma'am. I have only ever seen the field of the training grounds, never the inside of the palace walls. I do not know how to serve your kind. I do not have the will or mind to teach you your job. If I say something, do it. All of my slaves stood 5 paces away from me at all times, and they did not look me in the eyes. Ooh. Saren immediately averted his eyes and took several steps away. Loren evaluated him. No, that looks odd when there's only one of you. That's actually a cute face. You may stand closer. The doubting face. Ugh. Saren shuffled back. Behind me when I am not addressing you. Ah, yes. Thank you, mistress. Thank you, mistress. It was a small victory for him to be allowed more intimacy with Loren. God, dude! You're already trying to hit on her? Perhaps when they came to know each other more, Saren could stand with respect next to her. Is she gonna shout more? Mistress, what can you tell me of the Citadel? Being the princess, you must hold much more knowledge of it than I. Loren crossed her arms. Of course I do. The Citadel was built stone by stone by the Great Mothers. We were once able to defend our land without it. But fools keep testing the strengths of the Amazons, and so our walls were built. In our fortress we are invincible. The walls of the Citadel are impenetrable and always well defended. It's held off invasions by every ragtag banner known. You would think some militants would learn to avoid us, but the stability of our mighty home will likely continue to be tested. Such is the way of the world. I sometimes wonder why Mother doesn't send the scouts upon all other empires and conquer them all. Oh. Oh boy. Do you really think the Amazons could take over the entire world? Why not? Well, I believe they are outnumbered for one. One of our warriors could take on 1,000 of whatever excuse for a warrior anyone else has. I think you would be surprised. I don't think so. A wise ruler would think. Loren snapped her mouth shut and looked away. We are done with the history lesson. So, I'm assuming she's gonna talk more. Oh. What? Oh. We should break camp soon. There is much to be done. Okay, never mind. Oh. Hearts. Okay, quests. Okay, whatever. Let us save. Alright. That's I kinda like, what the heck? This music is kinda catchy. Reminds me of something. I don't know what. Let's just go. As they approached Grimoire, the path cut through a wooded area. Loren stopped abruptly and held her arms out to stop Saren. Her expression was serious and her voice low. Something isn't right here. They looked around, examining the area for anything out of the ordinary, and then they saw it. Someone was strung up by their feet from a tree limb, head down with a bag covering their body, the bag wide. They were still alive. Please help me! Loren and Saren rushed towards the person, but several little screeching creatures sprang down from the tree. Goblins! Fear shot through Saren as he realized that a battle was now upon him, and that Princess Loren had never fought outside of training. It was up to him to protect the princess. Watch yourself. Same to you! Loren drew her two swords swiftly and hurried to engage the enemies. You do not have to give me any instruction. Saren was surprised to see how swiftly Loren moved as she fought. She started with a vertical slash that moved so quickly that her blade looked like a solid arc of silver. The goblin collapsed to the ground in a bloody mess as she lifted her other sword in a horizontal slash to behead another goblin. She danced between the enemies and evaded their attempts and counterattacked with ease. Saren looked surprised to see how beautifully deadly all of her new movements were. Loren impaled another goblin through the heart in one quick stab, retracting her blade and flicking the blood off the metal with casual ease. She didn't have to stop to catch her breath, nor did she break a sweat in that short battle. You are about to select your party information. Right now you have only 2 party members, but later in the game you can have up to 6. So what this does is you get front row, back row. Since you have 6, so you can have 3 front, 3 in the back. Tanky people front, and I assume the more squishies on the back. Prepare yourself for the first fight. Yeah! Alright. Okay, so attack by clicking on enemy portrait or click ally portraits for friendly action. Hover on the portraits to see detailed information on the left panel. To repeat the last action performed, so let me click twice on the portrait. What? Oh, okay. So Loren's first. So here's our movement order. Since we're still outnumbered, we're going to be going very last. We only do about 20, so this might actually take a while. But I think we'll be alright. Oh, look. And they talk. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Alright, so these aren't too bad. Oh, what's very cool. So I figured out that if you have like 2 weapons, they do consecutive consecutive attacks. Like Final Fantasy, they would attack like a number of times if they have 2 weapons or 1 weapon. We're gonna keep punching them. Punch them. See you in the underworld. You're ugly. You're an ugly motherfreaker. He doesn't do damage.
So you can keep up next time.
Wow, that sounds like someone I know. Alright, so since we won, we got, what do we get? Get some experience. What the freak? Why is there such a discrepancy between the experience points? Oh, never mind. I'm just looking at something else. Okay. She's about to level up. Okay, and we got some loot. Nice. Nice! Saren hurried to keep up with her, but the fight was over quickly. Loren kept her swords in hand as she approached the stranger and cut their string rope. Saren grimaced but found some amusement at Loren's obviously lack of concern for the person. The person tumbled down from the tree, groaned, and then squirmed out of the bag, covering him. And you did not find her body. Searching for her must be our top priority. Your Highness, you know that it is against law to leave the city out. Your mother's fate is too uncertain. That's precisely why we must try to find her. I will search